Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Great hospitality here at Khanna Studios. I came across you on Facebook. I was scrolling through Facebook while I was taking a poop one day. Sorry for the visual, but I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw this good looking black guy with dreads, and he was promoting some media company or photography. For some reason, it looked like you were promoting headshots. And I clicked it and I ended up on the website. And I think I just shot you a text and I was like, yo, what's up with Khanna Studios? And you're like, yo, come through. I was like, all right, great.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. So when we first opened, we got our own personal headshots done here. And, we used the chalkboard, which is actually a part of our house at home. I think most people, they tell their kids like, hey, don't write on the wall, no writing on the wall. We actually encourage that in our house. So we have a chalkboard in our living room and all of our ideas take place on the chalkboard. Like it is something, that we absolutely love to do. So, words like empower, inspiration, motivation, they kind of wrote those around the board and then just had me stand in front of it. And we used it as a photo opportunity to show that you can be as creative as possible and use that. And so that was my own personal lifestyle headshot that you saw. And our social media manager was actually posting to promote headshots. So yeah, that's exactly
unbelievable. And now we're recording a podcast.
Yeah.
And you never know. It's the ripple effect. You never know what's going to happen. You meet one person that introduces you to one person that shows you one thing that teaches you something you don't even know. But tell me a little bit more about how you came to opening Khanna Studios. And I want you to start from the beginning. Like, was it tech that got you interested in content? Was it your own journey that you wanted to document that got you into posting more content? Tell us more about how all this started.
So Khanna House Studios is the brainchild of and just an incredible family. Julie Khanna, she is my much better half. She's the matriarch of the family. And then 3 kids, Lily, Nikhil, and Davy. They all majored in communications at Bach. They grew up with cameras in their hands. And so during COVID, everything you see here in the studio was in the living room at the house. The cameras, the lighting, the backdrops, everything. And, as the world started to open up post-COVID, she was like, I gotta get out of this house. Like I'm going stir crazy in here. Like I gotta get out of the house. So, we looked for office space and we found this one, just a tremendous blessing, the open space, the open air, and the ability to, have multiple stages inside of this space. How I got involved, I used to be more so on this side of the camera. So, I was pumping out content, doing a lot of motivational videos, just things that would come to my head. During COVID, I was actually voted America's favorite mindfulness coach. So I've spoken to city platforms, big organizations on just mental health, mindfulness, staying motivated during crisis, boosting morale. I've done retreats and things like that. So I was always on this side of the camera. So when we opened up the studio, I transformed and went to the other side of the camera. So was in charge of a lot of the logistics, teaching people how to grow a show, how to go from the ground up, and collectively as a team between Julie and her relationships with communications, public relations, primarily in medical health and wellness, and then the help of all of the kids, we've been able to transform this into exactly what it is. Wellington's first and only custom content creation, social media, like I said, custom content creation. We do events here. We host things here like seminars and book signings. We've done, so many just tremendous things here, and we'll continue to push the envelope with what we have the opportunity to create here. So I think that whatever you dream, whatever you think, we can create it here with the talented team of videographers and photographers that we have, along with the staff that we have.
Amazing. And I was going to say also a venue, because coming back to the beginning of the conversation of how I reached out to you, how I discovered you, I was reaching out to you because I was looking for a venue to host a speaking engagement for myself and another buddy of mine. And I was really like, okay, let me come by, let me see what it's like. You said you can fit 40 to 50 people. And I just fell in love with the atmosphere in here. And also, somewhat fell in love with you because you gave me so many amazing ideas on a lot of the things that were slipping through the cracks when it comes to my content, my personal branding. And for all those people that are watching on YouTube or you're listening on Apple, Spotify, or Audible, you guys can see that I've been really pumping out a lot of content lately. And the content's working, and the content is working in a multitude of different ways. But the one reason why I am so intentional now about posting content is because this content is going to live on forever. And as someone who's been journaling for the last, I don't know, 14 years, I'm 32, and I started journaling when I was like late in high school. So, you know, at least 15 years or so. I wish I would have journaled by making videos and recording conversations that I'm having with other people, because you can't move forward in life if you have nothing to look back on. And I want to be able to look back on all this content that I'm posting 20, 30, 40, 50, 70, 80, 100 years from now and say, yo, wow, I remember being 32 when I walked in Khanna Studios for the first time, and I was just getting my YouTube channel started. And so content's been big for me, and that's something you really helped me out on. And you've really opened my eyes to the not only the importance of content, but the importance of pumping out content at scale. So tell us more about your not experience, but your wisdom when it comes to content and how you're able to help all the people that come through here. Well,
before I do that, one of the things that I want to point out is what you're talking about is investing eternally. Like that is actually something that we are called to do as people, right? But strategically as men, we are called to do the best we can to, you know, leave legacy, and, you know, whatever that looks like for you is going to be a little bit different than what it looks like for somebody else. But the foundation of that is investing eternally. What can you do today that will send a ripple effect, like you said, you know, through time, that allows you to continue to leave your presence here on planet Earth? So I'm happy for it, and I'm proud of you for doing that. And you know, to get back to the content, you know, it's just been, you know, sometimes it's trial and error, but you know, realistically, success leaves clues. And you know, Julie Khanna, she is the founder of, you know, Khanna House Studios. Public relations and communications, it is just the language that she speaks. And so, you know, over the last 2.5, 3 years, being able to be under her umbrella and really start to pay attention to a lot of the forward facing things that we do in terms of media and communications, that has bled into what we have the ability to do here at Khanna House Studios. So a lot of your forward facing, shaking hands and, you know, being on scene at events and things like that, they trickle into having the ability to make a massive impact on what you do on social media. So for example, you know, you are getting ready to, and I don't know if I'm supposed to share this or not, do an Ironman, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So
my fourth one.
So I mean, I don't even want to drive the distance that you guys have to do.
140 miles, 140 miles.
So, you know, but doing that, right? Like, how do you turn something that you were going to do anyway into content? Well, you track your journey. That might look like, you know, pre-Ironman, your diet changes. So you talk about documenting what that looks like: video, audio, and written, right? That's 3 unique different pieces of content that touch, you know, everybody in a different way, right? So that looks like, if it's written, that looks like a blog. That might look like an entry into your next book, right? You do the audio. Now you're talking audiograms, something that you can do right in Canva and then post that to all of your social media platforms. And then if you record it, now you have your visuals. So now you're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, you know, with the video portion, and you could be saying the same thing, but now you're touching more people because you took the time and the opportunity to record that journey. And then what you do during your race, you know, you might document some of that as well. And then post race, you talk about it as well. And now you documented your entire journey, and depending on how long that is determines realistically how many pieces of content, unique pieces of content, you can get from that.
Yeah. And the content's great to grow a personal brand and to monetize and things like that. But I've been seeing a lot of content from other content creators that I follow that talk about content creation, specifically about how it's so important to have a personal brand in 2023.
1000%.
Regardless if you're trying to monetize or not. It's 2016 or so. And I remember someone telling me, you know, Instagram's your digital business card, man. I'm like, nah. Nah, what do you mean Instagram's my digital business card? Now it's like, yo, if I'm looking to go to a restaurant, if I'm looking to hire a Ironman coach, if I'm looking to hire a neurosurgeon for, that's kind of crazy, but like if I'm looking to hire anyone for anything, the first thing I do is go on Instagram and I look for them on Instagram.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about personal branding. What if someone is a 9-to-5er? Let's say they work a salary job, they're a 9-to-5er, they don't have any entrepreneurship, side hustles or anything. Mm-hmm. Is it still relevant to have a personal brand?
Yes, 100%.
Why is that?
It's your digital resume, right? It's, do you like to travel? Do you like food, right? It has a introspective, giving you a real life look into, realistically someone's life, right? So, if I'm looking as an employer to, take an interview, with you, I want to see how you spend your time. I want to see, what you do at your leisure. I want to see what motivates you, right? Mm-hmm. So, I want to know a little bit about your family, not in like a stalkerish way or anything like that. But when you come to the interview, if I've done my research on you, just like you should have done your research on me, we now have an opportunity to have deeper conversations. Right. So one of the things you always want to do with having a conversation, you want to find common ground, and then you want to take the other person to deeper ground. So we want to find some sort of commonality. Maybe that commonality is being content creators. Okay, so there's truth that you're a content creator and there's truth that I'm a content creator. Okay, that's great. What do we want to do with that? Well, let's stop scratching the surface and let's get a little bit deeper in that. Hey, Zach, what do you personally want to do with your content creation? Well, this is what I want to do. Akai, what do you want to do with your content creation? I think at the end of the day, the both of us are very missional in living. We're very purposeful in living. We're here on purpose, by purpose, and for purpose. So therefore, when we intentionally do things, we're not wasting any time. So to go back to the example, right? If I'm interviewing you and you have no Facebook, you have no Instagram.
Right. Is that a red flag?
Yeah, it's a red flag. Red flag.
Not
it's
having
like,
social.
What do you do? And how do you prove that this is what you do or who you are or any of those things? How do I have an opportunity to get to know who you are? Realistically, if I can't see you interact with other people without actually seeing you interact with other people.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like I said, I mean, personal branding is so important, and it's fairly simple to monetize a personal brand. Everyone has something that valuable that they can bring to the marketplace,
100%.
Whether it's in a consulting space or helping other people network or affiliate marketing or helping other people accomplish what they want to accomplish. So personal branding is definitely huge. And I've been thinking a lot more about my personal brand and trying to niche down. And I've been a coach now for 3.5 years, and I am a certified life coach. I'm a certified nutritionist. I help high income earners create better work-life balance, manage their stress levels, and get in the best shape of their life. But I also want to be able to help a broader audience, right? So coming up with a lower ticket offer for a lot of the people that maybe can't afford my coaching. And if you haven't already taken a look at my run club, the Live Better Now Run Club, the run club for non-runners, I'm helping 15 people right now run their first 10K.
Okay.
And they're losing a ton of weight. They're sharpening their time management skills. They're increasing their self-discipline. We actually have another live Zoom call on Thursday at 7 p.m. So if you want to get in that Zoom call, go ahead and head over to lifecoachzach.com. But when it comes to the personal branding and competition, I feel like the competition, even though the market is saturated, the competition has become weaker and weaker, just from what I'm seeing, because everyone can start a podcast everyone can start a YouTube channel. It's easy to create a TikTok account, but it's not easy to post every single day for 5 years straight.
Correct.
And social media is so new. Let's be real. I mean, I'm 32. It's funny. I don't know how old you are, Akai. I'm 32 years old. I was born in 1990. I did not grow up with an iPhone. The iPhone came out in 2009. So I didn't even have a phone till I was, and we're going to I see you smiling over there. I see you laughing over there. But I didn't even have a phone until I was 15 years old.
Okay.
Social media wasn't even a thing until Facebook came out in 2007-ish, maybe 2005 or so, but it wasn't until 2008 that I had a Facebook for the first time. That was the first social media platform I ever had. And then I didn't even start an Instagram account until 2013. Okay. When I was in college, Uber wasn't a thing. Snapchat just started. Airbnb wasn't a thing. So since then, and I don't feel like I'm that far removed from college, but since then, there's so many social media platforms. Facebook has nearly 3 billion users.
It's the biggest. It's the biggest country, like, on planet Earth.
Yeah.
Like in not in terms of real estate, but in digital real estate. Yeah, for sure. And I'll date myself. Facebook was your first social media platform. We had things like MySpace.
Well, I had MySpace too. But that was MySpace to me. It wasn't as big as, like, obviously the ones now.
We still had dial-up internet. Like, it sounded like you know what it sounds like when you open an ironing.
How old are you?
Opening an ironing board. It's like. It sounds like the devil's coming from hell. Is what it sounds like.
How old are you, Akai?
Actually, how old am I? I was born in 1985, so I'll be 38 this year.
Okay, so 5 years older than me. Okay, so I lived with AOL as well. I had AOL, I had dial-up, right?
Yeah.
I didn't have internet on my phone until I was really in college. So we're kind of in the same boat as far as the technology goes.
Yeah.
Back to the point, I want to circle back around to the fact that social media, especially TikTok and YouTube, we might feel like they've been around forever, but these are still extremely brand new.
In its infancy. Yep.
Infancy. So with that being said, and since it's so new, and since most people don't have the discipline, consistency to stick with creating content, my opinion is I feel like competition is weaker than ever. What's your take?
Yeah, I mean, the interesting part about it is you're 100% right. Like, I forget the quote, but it says, like, you'll beat 90% of the people just by showing up. So if you are a digital creator or content creator, if you post one thing a day, every day for 90 days, you more than likely 100% will outwork the competition for sure.
Yeah.
And, I think it's safe to say, like, compete, but don't compare, because one of the things that I know to be true is someone could be a less talented human being than any one of us in this room. But if they actually know how to market, they will beat us every time. Right. So you can have a company, a person, a brand, or whatever you want to call it, who has the best pizza or the best coffee or the best of whatever it is. But if they don't know how to market well, they will lose to a lesser quality, maybe, but a person or a company or a business that just knows how to market.
Yeah. Because no one knows about it. No one knows about it. It was so funny. Back in 2018, I don't know if you saw the reel I posted on Instagram a while ago. I met Gary Vee.
Okay.
And he actually reached out to me, or his assistant reached out to me in a group DM.
I'm a huge Gary Vee fan.
Oh, huge Gary Vee fan. Love Gary Vee.
Say it like it is.
So did you know this, that I met Gary Vee?
I didn't.
Okay. So he DM'd me in 2018. And about a year prior to that, I was listening to his podcast every day. It was when he was doing all the garage sale stuff.
Okay.
He was doing the garage sale stuff. He was in the process of launching Empathy Wine. Empathy Wine was not born yet, but he was promoting it a lot. And hold on one second. Mind if I take a look? Okay, never mind. I apologize. So he was doing his Empathy Wine thing. And so he DM'd me and he said, "Hey, Zach, if you ever want to come meet me, just let me know. My assistant's on this group DM." I said, "I'll book a JetBlue flight right now. I'll literally drive to the airport right now and come meet you." He goes, "LOL, whatever her name is, we'll take it from here." I said, "Okay, great." So I said, "Hey, I'm really looking forward to meeting Gary Vee. When can I come?" She goes, "How's December 11th?" I was like, "Perfect, I'll be there. Just let me know the address." She said, "Okay, great." I didn't ask any more questions. I didn't know how long I was going to get with him. I didn't know why he wanted me to come. If someone hands you money, you say yes, thank you, and you walk away.
For sure.
Type of thing, right?
Yeah.
So I booked the flight. I go to New York. I fly to New York. I go to One Hudson Yards, the building where VaynerMedia is his company. I go to VaynerMedia. I'm sitting in the waiting room. They give me one of his books, a signed book. And I was like, all right, great. They're like, all right, time to meet Gary. I go to meet Gary. I walk in his office, literally his office where he's had, famous people. And I walk in there. And he goes, "What's up, Zach?" And I'm like, "Hey, what's up, Gary? I'm Zach." He goes, "I know." I said, "Okay, great, man." And he says, "What's up?" And I was like, I don't know, man. I was like, "You invited me here. I just started talking. I said, "I just want to thank you so much. I consume your content every single day. You've helped me with a lot of the content I'm posting, but what you've really helped me with most is my perspective on life, is enjoying the process, falling in love with the grind. You know, if I am 80 years old and I'm still doing what I love, it doesn't really matter how much money I'm making. And at that moment, he turns to his assistant. He says, what do I have on the calendar after this? She said something, something. He goes, push it back. He says, Zach, sit down. And he sat down next to me, and his video guy comes in and they just start filming. And he's like, tell me more about that, Zach. And I was like, yeah, dude, I mean, this is my next line. I said, yeah, man, I mean, I haven't bought any of your shit. I haven't bought your K-Swiss shoes. I haven't bought your empathy wine, but I consume your content on marketing perspective and mindset. And he's like, dude, I love that you didn't buy any of my shit and that like you have the balls to say that to me. I'm like, yeah, whatever. So anyway, we're talking. We talked for like 45 minutes. And then I literally left. I kid you not, Akai. Less than 5 minutes after I walk out of that place, there's a video of me and Gary Vee on Instagram on his page to 3 million people. He had like 3 million followers at that time. Now he has like 11 million.
Yeah.
And I immediately reposted it. And it was really cool meeting Gary Vee.
That's incredible.
It was really
and
cool
powerful and honestly life altering. You know what I mean? Like you will remember a lot of the things that you've done in your life. You will never forget a moment, an experience, and an opportunity like that for sure. You know, so you walked into Gary Vee's office and someone handed you a book like the one sitting right here?
Like the one sitting right here. Exactly. Live Better Now. But I can't remember how I started talking about that Gary Vee story. What was it? Oh, less competition, consistency.
We were talking about competing and comparing. And then, you know, honestly, I think that that's something that is very, very real. I mean, what I took from that is having the wherewithal to speak your mind, not say what you think people want to hear, but being your true, raw, and authentic self. And if you ask, right, life will give you what you ask of it. So you consuming content, right? You understanding perspective, you getting a different perspective from someone, right? Because success leaves clues. Having an opportunity to meet a figure like that who has been such an, you know, integral part of your growth is something that everybody doesn't have an opportunity to experience. And when you do that, sometimes you get starstruck and you'll say things like that you think that this person wants to hear. So to me, the lesson in this is say it like it is. Yeah. You know, say it like it is. You know, so if your authentic self is to be, you know, the sweet, the nurturing, sincere, then you be that person, right? But if you're listen, man, I don't know how much time I got, and I just want to I'm just cut to the chase, right? Like, I didn't buy none of your shit. Like, I didn't buy anything that you're selling, right? But I am consuming your content. Mm-hmm. And because I am consuming your content, I now am a mouthpiece for not only my own brand, but, you know, it is coming at the crux and the foundation of things that you preach. And because of that, not only is Gary Vee touching more people and having an opportunity to grow more people, but, you know, so are you. So
right.
Are you.
It's a ripple effect. Mm-hmm. And I wanted, you know, this isn't a typical episode for me. Usually I interview like coaches in the health and wellness space and things like that. And you are in the wellness space. You're one of the most popular mindfulness coaches. So I'm definitely, you definitely align well with that. But the reason why I wanted to have this episode with you is because you were an expert in content. You're an expert in personal branding. And I have so many people reach out to me that are like, Zach, you know, how did you get your followers? I was like, yo, I just got lucky. I was on a TV show. I'm actually losing followers. But people reach out, hey, you know, I want to start a coaching business, or, hey, I want to, you know, be a personal trainer. How do you do your content? This and that and the other. And even though I try my best to help them out, I wanted them to hear it right from the horse's mouth, man. Yeah. Yeah. So what's your advice for people that, you know, haven't gotten started, or maybe they just got started and they don't really have a lot of direction, they don't really have a lot of time, mm-hmm. and they want to make the most out of their time and shorten the learning curve?
Sure. You know, one of the things that you have to do is take massive action, but you do it one little baby step at a time. Like, you know, I think people like confuse the simplicity of life with the complexity of getting something started, right? Like this social media, the branding and all that stuff, it is actually not as complicated or complex or as complex as people think it is. But you do have to start. And then one of the things that you want to do when you start is you want to have some sort of framework and structure and in some form of tracking whatever it is that you're doing. And you do have to stay consistent for at least 90 days would be my, opinion. So if someone picks up the phone and say that, because we have these conversations all the time here, specifically, at Khanna House Studios, people ask, I've been wanting to start a podcast for forever. How do I get started?
Hit record.
Yeah, I say let's get you into the studio. Let's see, kind of what is your show about? Who is your target audience? Why should people listen to you? What are you teaching, the world? And we can start from there. You know what I mean? And then from there, once you've got this stuff like outlined, you then have an opportunity to sit in front of a camera and tell people who you are. Mm-hmm. Hi, my name is AkaiJJackson. I was voted America's favorite mindfulness coach. I'm the founder of IXL. It's a personal and professional development agency that curates mindset shift programs that take people from existing to excelling in physical and mental health, right? I have an opportunity to say that. And because I can say those things, professional speaker, author, that's why you should listen to me, because there's a mound full of credibility here.
Absolutely.
So now that I have your attention, I can then do something with that in episode number 2. So in episode number 2, I might break down some terminology for you, right? I might actually talk about what mental health is, what mindfulness is, right? Mindfulness is a word that, realistically has just been around for the last couple of years. But, for me, I'm talking about you being acutely aware of your emotions in your surrounding environment in the present moment without fear or judgment. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's dissect that in episode number 2, right? Episode number 3, maybe I want to solve a problem. Maybe I want to solve, why you're hesitant on moving forward, or, what fear is, or I want to break down one of the most popular fears that people face and how to overcome it, whatever it might be. And episode number 4, I want you to dive into my life, but I want to talk to a buddy of mine like Zach, right? There's 4 episodes. And from there, I can track what that looks like and then continue to move off of that platform. I think what ends up stopping people from creating content is they want to get it right. They want to go viral.
Perfectionist.
Like there in that present moment. And what they don't understand is there's a hustle, there's a grind to this. And the consistency is, like you said earlier, that's where content becomes king. I could put out my very best video, in my opinion, tomorrow. But what if I never produce another piece of content ever again? And nobody watches that video, or 5 people watch that video.
Right.
But if I put out content every single day and I'm constantly in people's faces, right? What do they say? You got to see something 22 times before you actually remember that it's there. Mm-hmm. So how often do you drive past something on the road, the store, right, the restaurant or whatever, you go, oh my gosh, where'd that come from? Like it's the first time you've seen it. It's probably like the 19th time you've seen it. You're just on the phone constantly, or you're doing something else while you're passing it. And all of a sudden it presents itself right when you were supposed to see it. Mm-hmm. Right. So, when it comes to developing courses, start. If you want to write a book, start. If you want to start a podcast, start. If you want to become a digital creator, content creator, you want to have your own brand, start. You want a clothing line, start. You want to make merchandise, start. You want to become a photographer, start. You don't need $1,000 camera. You have an iPhone, right? Or a Samsung if you're one of those. one of those,
yeah.
Right?
One of those weirdos.
It really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you want to take massive action, one little baby step at a time. And once you develop any sort of framework and structure, you just want to be able to reevaluate that structure every 90 days, I would say.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow. Well said. I talk about that a lot. Taking massive action right here, right now with what you got from where you're at. Mm-hmm. Just do your best right here. Yeah. Yeah. And do it consistently for an extended period of time and you'll get results.
Yeah. Success leaves clues. I mean, it does. It leaves clues. And that's where you have an opportunity to take any small amount of analytics. So, let's say on Monday, I post still videos with captions and it doesn't do very well. On Tuesday, I post a video and that video has nothing to do about nothing. I just felt like getting on camera and brushing my teeth and telling people what I'm going to do that day. And for some reason, my still photo with an incredible caption gets 500 views, but my video gets 10,000 views. Well, maybe I need to pay attention to the time I posted. I need to pay attention to the content that I posted, and I need to pay attention to who viewed my content. And if that fits what I'm trying to do, then that tells me I should be doing more videos, right? So then I'll do more videos until me doing more videos doesn't work anymore. And then I'll switch it up and change it. But, you do want to start with something, and then you want to be consistent with whatever that looks like. And now, listen, you have so many resources in the palm of your hand. Do not be afraid to do the work. So, will Zach give you some incredible insight if you pick up the phone and call him, or you DM him? Absolutely. If you pick up the phone and call me, right? You call Khanna House Studios. You step into this studio. You get in contact with us for us to help you. We will 100% do everything possible to help you. But it isn't us that has to take the step. It's still you listening to my voice, listening to this podcast. It is still you that has to take the step. You have to take action. It might make you uncomfortable. I hope it does, because there's nothing growth-wise that is going to happen to you if you do not step outside of what makes you comfortable. Mm-hmm. The only way for you to go from existing to excelling is for you to break away and get outside of your comfort zone.
That's it. Akai, thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure.
This was an amazing conversation.
Glad to have you.
To all the people, thank you. And I enjoyed this a lot. To all the people that are listening that want to connect with Akai, I'm going to drop the link to all of his websites, all of his free resources, and how you can connect with him in the show notes below. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks so much for sticking around to the very end. Don't forget to hit subscribe and like this video. And also, if you haven't left a review on Apple or Spotify yet, go ahead and leave a 5-star review. And we'll see you guys on the next episode of the Live Better Now podcast.
Yeah, make sure you pick up a copy of this book. 100%. I just started reading it, and I can't wait to get further in. And because I actually consider myself a personal friend of Zach's, I can have an opportunity to talk about this book like face to face.
Love it. Thank you, Akai.
All right, guys, take care.